What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 285 of Littleroot Lessons. I'm Angelo, and I'm joined by the hardest working producer in Pokemon podcasting, Carl. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. Worlds is over.
It is.
We had a lot of fun watching and got a lot of new information, and we got a lot to talk about today, and I'm excited.
We did, yeah, and there were a lot of great storylines, and we'll probably get into a lot of them once we get into the discussion, but we're going to bang out with some housekeeping, so to speak, beforehand.
Yeah, we got some little things we got to talk about, and some big things we got to talk about.
Yep.
And...
Actually, something that doesn't even need to be shown on screen. The first announcement is over the weekend. It was announced that we have reached the threshold for Chien-Pao, so that's going to be available soon. Remember, the
should be Thursday, I think.
Yep. Yeah, Thursday. So a couple of days after this episode comes out, you will be able to get your Chien-Pao. You will also be able to get your Wo-Chien if you already haven't, as of right now. And make sure to pick those Pokemon up, because we don't know when we'll be able to get them shiny again. Like, who can say?
I have an account for Scarlet and an account for Violet, and I picked it up on both.
Yep, and it's not like you don't even have to put a code in. It's just go in, mystery gift, receive over Wi-Fi or internet, and it's just there. Yep. So make sure to do that. And going into our announcements, so first of all, as we already knew, the World Championships next year is going to be in San Francisco, California, as it was announced last year. We now have a date for it. It is going to be August 28th to August 30th, a week before Labor Day weekend in the United States. And this is the latest they've ever had the World Championships.
It's really late.
Yeah, they've never had it this late. And the reason why they're doing this is because they're also having Pokemon XP. Now, Pokemon XP is going to be this massive, what they're calling a celebration of community and all things Pokemon as your merchandise and so many more in the first of its kind event. It is going to be a ton of experiences and partners all taking place in San Francisco at the same time as the World Championships. And this is going to be a very big thing. I've said this on the pod a lot. Not only is next year the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, it is also the 20th World Championship. Yep. So you have two massive anniversaries.
Two big anniversaries at the same time.
Yes.
This also kind of mirrors some of what they did when they were in Japan for Worlds. Yep. Japan already being one of the Pokemon meccas of the world, already had a lot of this stuff already built in. So it was just the drone show, cool. That's going to be that's part of it regardless. But they showed a drone show in the little trailer, and if I don't know if you've ever been to Japan or ever seen the sewer cap lids. Mm-hmm. They have they were talking about putting those in San Francisco. San Francisco being an old style city, probably could benefit from something like that. Get a little bit of extra tourism dollars and things like that. So it's kind of nice seeing a convention alongside Worlds instead of Worlds plus spectating, right?
Yeah, and also one of the other things, this has become massive. I think one of the coolest parts of this past weekend is that they actually held the finals in the SoFi Center, which is the stadium where the Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers play, along with a ton of massive shows, this is a place where you go to see Beyonce, Taylor Swift, so on and so forth, that level of artists. And they're doing the same thing in San Francisco, what you can see on the screen right here.
You're going to the Chase Center.
The Chase Center is where they're going to be having finals, and they're going to be having this convention here. It is going to be, where are you? It doesn't say the arena. There's another arena that they're going to be doing XP in, which I cannot find here.
Let me look. I might be able to find it real fast.
I just saw it, but they're doing a second arena or area for XP during Worlds.
The Bay Area is Moscone Center and the Yerba Buena Gardens.
Okay. And I'm assuming one of those places is also going to be where days 1 and 2 of Worlds are held.
I believe the Moscone Center is the hall.
Okay.
So
And they already announced that registration for this event opens up in a month. Multi-day passes will be released in 2 waves on September 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Pacific. Now, what you can do with these passes, there are two sorts of passes. There's your regular multi-day pass, which is either going to go for $120 to $150, depending on when you get it, along with Youth Pass. And the multi-day pass with Arena is $30 more, and it includes everything from that you would get with your regular multi-day pass, along with a pass into the Chase Center for the finals. This past weekend, it was first come first serve, and they did hit capacity, and there were people who couldn't get in to watch finals because they didn't have enough people.
Which it's hilarious thinking about it that way, because
that stadium's massive.
That stadium's massive. They clearly were not using all of the stadium. No. I feel like they were mostly just set up in the middle of the field and just did a smaller setup. There were a lot of players that were wanting to get in after seeing a bunch of people leave, and they just said, no, you're not getting in. And that feels a little scummy.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that at least,
if you're first come first serve and you got open spots in there, you should be able to go in and watch. Because from what I heard, after TCG ended, a lot of people left.
Yeah. I think what could help with that is like at least having an idea on the spectators with this multi-day pass with Arena, so they could plan on how many seats they will need and open up.
Yeah.
And one of the other things with this, so if you buy these passes, not only do they work for at the Moscone Center and everything and XP, but you can also go to just the regular spectator stuff at Worlds as well. So this kind of doubles as your World Spectator Pass plus all of the other extras for XP.
I was gonna say that's exactly what this is. The spectator passes are now these, like these multi-day passes. So
yeah, and what they're doing. So just other things to note. They are saying it is first come first serve, and you will be able to get if you are able to register, you'll be able to register for 1 extra adult or up to 3 kids, along with up to 3 kids as well. So I know I will be trying to get tickets to this. I've never been to Worlds, which is I had Boston Worlds 10 years ago, and it was right down the street, and I just didn't go because I'm a dope. And I do want to go. I think this would be really fun. I just go to an event. With that being said, I will be on a cruise ship in Alaska at this time when this opens, so I will be trying to go and register for this while on a cruise ship. And on using whatever Royal Caribbean Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yeah.
And also, with that being said, with this, I might see if Amanda wants to come do an early buying my 31st birthday present for myself before my third. Well, just after I turn 30.
Yeah, that's one way to write it off.
That is exactly how I'm putting it, because my birthday's the following week. But yeah, I'm excited for this, and that is just one of the changes for Worlds.
Which
in 2026.
It's not a huge change from what already goes on. Going through the activities, a lot of it is already what's there normally at a big event like Worlds or an IC. The Play Lab, pop-up Pokemon Center, autograph room for artists and things like that. The extra stuff is there's going to be a spot for panels, and there's going to be special meet and greets and things like that. Which that's kind of a bonus, but not everyone's going to be super interested in that stuff, I feel depending on what's going on. There's a Go panel at X o'clock, and you're probably going to have maybe 200 people there, depending on when you decide to have it. If you have it during day 1, good luck, because most of the Go players are likely going to be competing still.
Yeah. Yeah, also a little off topic, I just saw Milwaukee registration is going to open up in 2 days.
Yep. I was already asked if I was going. I am not. I am staying home.
Yeah, so I was initially planning on going, and then my wife reminded me that we have an event that weekend, and I would not be home for that. So looks like I'm not going either. At some point next year, I think I'll not even including this. I'm going to try to get to a major.
Indy tentatively is my next major probably.
Yeah. And we'll be talking about like what will be majors will be like in another Change the Worlds next year in a bit. But first, we do have to go and talk about another announcement for Pokemon ZA. And I will say this, Carl, kind of called this because this is not something that was in Legends Arceus.
I was telling you that these Legend games are going to start bleeding into the traditional style, and they're going to have all the bells and whistles that we're used to having.
Yes, so right now we are confirmed a ranked mode, a linked play mode in Legends ZA, and it is a little different from what we would expect. The way that the battles will work, we don't have this here.
It's the real-time battle system. People have seen it up of the trailer. Yep. It's anime style battles. You move around with your Pokemon to get them to dodge. Your moves are on cooldowns. There was a demo at Worlds where we got to see a lot of the game, like mechanic wise played. We found out we have held items in the game.
Yes, held items but no abilities.
Held items but no abilities, which makes sense in a real time battle strategy setting because abilities. Some of the abilities are a little wonky.
Yes.
So they don't always cooperate in a different kind of battle setting. In a turn-based setting, a lot of the abilities work really, really well. In a long, drawn-out, like, RTS-style battle system, they kind of might have to go in and reorganize and balance them before we get a game with abilities again. But it's funny because Arceus pretty much went back to square one like Gen 1. ZA is over here adding items like Gen 2 did, held items. And so the next step would be the next game will probably introduce abilities again and things like that after they've had time to rebalance effectively an entire game.
Yeah. So the way that the ranked mode also works, it is you can do it in a multiplayer up to 4 people, 3-minute time limit, and you earn points in your 4-player link battles based on how many times you knock out your opponent's Pokemon. With other additional kickers, and as they note here, similar to the main story, you start in rank Z and climb to rank A. 26 ranks, because that's how many letters there are in the alphabet.
The battle mode reminds me a little bit of how the Sun and Moon like 4-player battle royales work.
Yeah.
Scoring system's very similar, 4 players, except it's all turn-based on the battle royale, whereas this will be a little bit more crazy.
Yeah, and also one of the other cool things with it is, so like you can run around, collect Mega Energy. You're able to Mega Evolve multiple times, because it is on a timer, and that timer is under 3 minutes. But if you can Mega Evolve, collect more energy, you can get a second Mega Evolution off, which is really neat to see like how that interacts. I think one of the other things that's cool that they also showed, they showed a little bit of gameplay with Mega Dragonite. They showed it using Draco Meteor, what looked to be Air Slash, which I'm not sure that's a move Dragonite gets.
I believe it is, but we just don't see it used very often because Air Slash is special.
Well, that's the thing. So maybe they were giving us a couple hints on how Mega Dragonite stats are.
Yeah, Dragonite currently gets Air Slash.
Okay, yeah, but we'll never see it.
I was like, well, we never see it because Dragonite usually is a physical attacker.
But maybe we see
with it using Draco Meteor, it would make sense to give it Air Slash.
Yeah. So maybe we see it as a special attacker. Hopefully we see it as a only special attacker, and they don't like just stat it out as a mixed attacker that does nothing else. And
that'd be kind of crappy.
It would be very crappy. Now, with the ranked battles here, you could think, is this how we're playing VGC? And the answer is no, because it is official. The Pokemon World Championships will be played on Pokemon Champions. Some handsome, long-haired, curly-bearded Podcast host has been saying that the 2026 Worlds will not be played on Scarlet and Violet for actually, I'd say almost 2 years now. Good to see that noted. And officially, and like some people are saying that Champions is just going to be like Pokemon Pocket for VGC. No, this is the real deal. And
the way they would not put this out here if it was just going to be an online battle sim.
Yeah, this is
they would not put the effort into this if it was just going to be Pokemon Pocket, Pokemon Live.
Yeah.
Like
now,
this is the epitome of not making money if you're not using it for your competitive scene.
Yeah. So one of the cool things that they answered, first of all, as they say here, you're able to bring your Pokemon in from home, and it is going to be officially cross-platform battles.
So
starting in
that's concerning.
So starting in 2026, Pokemon Champions will be used as the VGC software for the World Champions and for Championship Series events leading up to Worlds, which does mean that there were some people saying, it's going to be Worlds only. We will be getting this before Worlds. Historically speaking, so from the 2012 season on, when there's been a new game, so like 2012 was played on Black 2, White 2. No, I got that. I'm sorry. 2013 on, because like 2011 and 2012 were both played on Black and White. Then when Black 2, White 2 came out, they switched to that from 2012 to 2013. The 2014 season, they played on Black 2, White 2 until January, swapped over to X and Y moving forward. And we can even go up to when Sword and Shield came out. Like the day Sword and Shield, well, not the day, the weekend Sword and Shield came out, they were still playing LAIC that weekend on Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So my guess is, and then they made the switch in January. So my guess is like by February of 2026, depending on when this game comes out.
I was about to say, so that's the tricky part about this, because in all your examples, the games came out in November or earlier.
So that's why I'm saying.
So it becomes real tricky, because we normally, like you said, would swap at that January spot after we have our winter break. But we don't know what the game is slated to come out in 2026. We're not getting it in December 25. We're getting it in January or February 2026. I would not be surprised if it's like a Pokemon Day launch kind of thing. I think it's going surprised.
My guess, I think Pokemon Day is probably the latest it would come out. I think it's going to be neat in general, but like we'll get it soon.
Because then you have to give everybody time to
get their stuff.
That's one of the other things we can segue into. There is going to be a paid version of this game you can play.
Yes.
Specifically only on Switch and Switch 2. The mobile system is not confirmed or denied to have that same paid game. It's free to start on all platforms, and they mentioned that there is a paid version for Switch and Switch 2.
Yes. So, and with you also mentioning mobile, one of the things that we do note here is that they will be supporting cross-platform, so you can go and play at majors or any event. You could play using your phone or using either a Switch or Switch 2. And I know what we're about to get into with the phones. How is this going to work at a major?
So I will tell you right now, there are currently 2 games in Pokemon's repertoire that use mobile phones: Unite and Go. So the way Unite works, because that's what I have experience with, you can borrow mobile phones, but they will not let you use your own most of the time. Partly due to the fact that you can install extra crap on your phone to help you in the game and things like that, and that's against terms of service and blah blah blah. So the way they keep competitive integrity is you effectively trade your legal like your government ID for the phone access, and when you're done with the phone, you trade it back in and you get your ID back. And I imagine what most people will be doing is playing this still on the Switch. Like everybody still has access to a Switch 1 or 2 because we already are using a Switch 1 or 2. So I imagine the mobile situation will be a lot less prevalent than we think it will be. The other iffy thing is, how do the phones connect to the Switches? How well is that connectivity in a giant arena filled with a bunch of bodies and a bunch of interference?
Yeah, that's going to be the other thing that I'm not sure of. I personally will not be. I think what I'm excited for with the mobile aspect of this game is like
you can play it anywhere.
The on the go practice. Playing Showdown on your phone is a miserable experience.
It's not that bad.
I hate it so much.
It's not as bad as you think it is.
I personally just don't enjoy doing it, so I never I'll never like practice on my phone. And so now
I practice on my phone all the time. That is where I actually prefer to play Showdown. It's on my phone. Yeah. If I'm at my computer, I would rather plug my Switch in and play on my Switch.
I mean, if I'm practicing, like testing teams and stuff, it is on Showdown. I always prefer my laptop. I'm happy to at least give this a shot, or at least know it's like I could sneak a quick best of 3 in. With that being said, you know, boring days at the office. When I'm in the office, out the window, done. Not going to be doing anything besides clicking buttons on VGC.
Right.
And then we also not here. I'm trying to find where they said it.
Mega Evolution.
Right here. There we go. Yes. So the other thing that was announced, and everything is all about Mega Evolution from in 25 through the 26th season. Even Pokemon TCG Pocket is getting Megas. They're not great, or probably not great. If
the things that happen like I think they're going to happen, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Certain things have to happen to make the new Mega EXs good.
Yeah.
And one of those is just like it has to, like, the format has to rotate something.
Which I actually think they will rotate, but
it would make sense. It's Pocket's coming up on being a year old. We are getting very close to that. So
yeah, but we're not talking Pocket. We're talking strictly VGC. Now, one of the things that they did that maybe it's down. Yes, it's right here. So the item that you will be using to do everything is this Omni Ring, as they're calling it, a battle essential. And so the protagonist of this title will be wearing a device called an Omni Ring, an item necessary for Mega Evolution. It's similar to Mega Rings in the Pokemon video game series. Other special features may be added to the Omni Ring in the future.
This is pretty much their cop-out saying, hey, we reserve the right to go back to other gimmicks in the future.
Yeah. And as you can see on the picture, you see it's like, it looks like a dial, and you can click towards
and you literally just turn it to whatever you need it to do.
Currently it's on Z moves. You see the Mega symbol right there.
There's Terrestrialization below the Mega.
That is probably Dynamax.
It's probably Dynamax is the other way.
I mean, it literally is the only other thing. And what's nice is that it's like saying like other special features. Like they can just use this as a cop out. It's like, oh, whatever the Gen 10 gimmick is,
whatever gimmick you want to introduce, this is what's going to happen.
Like,
this is their cop out to keep the game around for a long time.
Yeah, because also we're just going to pull this up real quick. Where are you, Ash? Yeah, because like part of it as well is I'm trying to find. I can't find the picture. It's a picture of Ash from Journeys, and he has like a Mega bracelet and the Z ring, and then on the other
he's just got everything.
He has the Dynamax band, completely like dripped out.
You this was inevitable. Just knowing like how the game, like how mechanics work, because everything has been a band up until Terra, and so it's very easy just to combine everything into one.
Yeah. And the reason why it's important that we are talking about this is because, as they announced, the first set of rules for champions will be Mega Evolution. Yep. So we will be playing as if it is 2014 again. Actually, probably
but with new Megas, because we know we'll have Mega Dragonite.
Yep. We want to have new Megas. They show Mega Dragonite. And I think like one of the questions we saw on the New England server today was, like, what sort of decks do they think they're going to do? And I think what it's going to be, just looking at some of the Pokemon we've already talked about, like, I think it was like up here. I think what it's going to end up being, it's of course like your favorite, like the Pikachu, the Charizard, and everything. And I think it's going to be another mix of like VGC staples, Pokemon that have received or will receive a Mega Evolution, and then just a few others to like just mix everything up.
So here's the thing: Dexit no longer is an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
I would imagine what it is it's going to be consistently probably the dex will consist of every Pokemon available eventually.
Yeah,
I would imagine the initial dex is ZA plus Paldea.
Probably.
Because ZA gives you all your megas, Paldea gives you access to things like the Sneasler and the Hisui forms and all that.
Yeah. And we'll see like how things go. But overall, I'm excited. If I do go to a regional next year or an event, I do want it to be a Champions event. One of the things that they did note is that there will be some areas, even when Champions is out, that might still be using Scarlet and Violet for their premier events.
Probably like South Africa /
Yes.
Middle East. Maybe Latin America, they might still.
I was thinking
sometimes locations like that are a little bit harder to get to, they like to keep on the other hardware.
Yeah, and we'll see. But overall, I'm excited. This is going to be really fun. I can't wait for this game to come out and for me to take the entire weekend off to do nothing but game. In preparation, and with all that being said, main event.
Now we can talk about the actual Pokemon.
Yeah, we will stop talking about 2026, and we are going to focus on the now. First of all, this was
yesterday.
Well, the yesterday, then closer to now. The U.S. took NAIC personally.
Oh yeah, no, we apparently were mad about something.
The U.S. took NAIC personally after all the Italians just destroyed us a month and a half, 2 months ago.
We decided that we were going to sweep VGC.
Yeah, pretty much. Not so. Just in terms of historically. Well, first of all, I believe U.S. won juniors and seniors as well.
Yep, the U.S. swept VGC for sure.
Yep. So juniors and seniors. We had. This is not only so. Gio, congratulations. He is our first American World Champion since Wolfe Glick in 2016.
Yep.
Gio and James are the first finalists from the States since Emilio Forbes in 2018. So it's been a very long time since an American even made it to the final day.
Yeah, we haven't been close in a long time. So
yeah. And it also goes and breaks our tie with Italy because both Italy and the U.S. had 2 winners. I feel the U.S. of course has the second most overall wins, but only 2 individual winners up until yesterday, where we become the second country since Japan to have 3 unique world champion winners from the same country.
Yeah.
So very historic in that sense. It just in general a really, really great event because of all of this. I think I had a few other things, like specifically even going into the finals yesterday. Gio, this is the furthest he's ever been. His peak before this was only top 8 at a major. So the fact that he went and his first win is the biggest win you can possibly get ever, pretty damn awesome.
Yeah.
James Evans, if he won, he would have been the. These are the ifs because he did not win. But if he did win, he would have been the first person since Ray Rizzo to have multiple world championships and the first person ever to win both seniors and masters. So no former senior world champion has ever won masters. James, of course, being the closest to doing so.
Didn't Kevin Hahn, isn't he now the first back-to-back from juniors to seniors?
Yes.
Yeah. That was the other historic thing that happened is Kevin Hahn won juniors last year and wins seniors this year.
Honestly, with the way he plays, he'll probably. This is a difficult game, but at the younger levels, good chance that he's Kevin Hahn next year is going in and saying, "I want that 3-peat."
Yeah, 100%, right?
But yeah, like just a lot of great stuff. Michel Kelch became the 5th player ever to go 3 straight years with a top 8 at Worlds. I can't. I know Wolf did it. Ray did it. Wolf, Ray. I'm trying to think because let me get this. There was a tweet that I saw with this info. That is. I'm just gonna put. So right there. Nope, that is not that. Moment.
No, you're fine.
Trying to see. Sejun did it.
I'm
And
about to say Seijun. We didn't talk
yeah,
about
so
they played in Pokemon Go this weekend, if I remember correctly.
Yes, Sejun is just as good at Pokemon. Period. But yeah, so I know it's those 3, and I can't remember who the 4th is, but I'll find it later. But like, yeah, like that's historic in that sense. Yeah, a lot of really just awesome storylines with with all of this going into the event. And let's talk about some of the usage. And overall, it kind of was what was expected. I think the really neat thing is to see Smeargle as the 10th most used Pokemon. And if you ignore restricteds, it was 6th in usage.
Yeah, which is not surprising coming from NAIC with how popular it got there.
Yeah, I think one of the really cool things that we did see is that this Zygarde variant, while only 12 of the 67 Smeargles ran Zygarde, the Zygarde variant was actually had better success than the Decorate variant. While giving your Pokemon boosts is very, very powerful, just having a move in Zygarde that completely shuts down Astral Barrage or Glacial Lance or Water Spout,
whatever spread moves.
Yeah, whatever spread move. Heat Wave, like having a move like that to just shut it down and just add more.
Snarl.
Yep. Like
Earthquake.
So yeah, Jesus, there's so many.
It's like Pokemon's designed to be played as doubles and not really singles.
Yeah, no, who would have thunk? But yeah, just really cool tech that was again a lot less aggro than the Decorate that we saw earlier, but just that extra ability. Like, sure, you can get your +2 off, but you could also just swing twice because you get a second swing because you're Zygarde, and that in itself is very, very useful. I think another thing to note in the usage stats is that going into day 2, Raging Bolt actually overtook Urshifu for the number 2 spot for non-restricted usage. Raging Bolt had an amazing weekend, and I think it was also to do with Koraidon also had an amazing weekend. 54.7% win rate.
I was about to say, yeah, Koraidon Fluttermane technically had the highest win rate of like the Pokemon used the most. I believe it's like anything greater than like 15 times. It has Dragonite technically beats it at 18 uses with a 55.2. Fluttermane 53 uses, 55.15%. Really, really high. Koraidon is the winningest restricted.
Yep.
In general.
Yeah, when 54. You look at the restricteds, because you had also Calyrex 55, like Calyrex had a 51.58 win rate, but also like 154 Calyrex to Calyrex Shadow to 47 Koraidon, like 3 times as many. I think that like also is big. Talk about restrictions that we're losing. My pick for Worlds, I thought Miraidon was going to be able to go back to back. Nope, didn't happen.
Nope. Well, not in the Masters anyway.
No, not in the Masters.
Miraidon swept the juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
Miraidon Calyrex Ice won both of those, so.
Yep, not Masters. 46.59% win rate. When we were looking at the pairings for each, like the restricted usage pairings, the number one used restricted duo was Caloric Shadow Zamazenta, and then like the second, third, and fourth most used, it was Miraidon CIR, Miraidon Lunala, Miraidon Caloric Shadow. So like Miraidon was, you were more likely to see a Miraidon than almost any other Pokemon, it felt like, outside of course, Incineroar. But like in terms of restricteds, and it just, even with the numbers, it couldn't get through. And
Miraidon was technically almost half the field.
So. Yeah, almost half the field, but again, couldn't get through. Only one Miraidon made top 8. And we'll get to that team, but first let's go through the other Bike Dragon that had an unbelievable weekend. Koraidon, you did it. And this is one of the top 3 teams were Koraidon teams. And it's just really cool. We see the Life Orb on the Koraidon. A lot of high-end players and high-end builders. Again, we saw it in Reg G Part 1 with Boit. We saw it go even further and become an international champion, an UIC champion, piloted by Wolfe Glick this past season, back in February.
Sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds right. And it's just, I feel like this team in itself, with the Hisuian Ursaluna and the Flutterfish, it just seems like a love letter to what is Scarlet and Violet VGC. Ursaluna being one of the premier threats in many formats, namely Regulation H, was massive in Regulation D, and then came back and won a handful of regionals and an IC this past year in Regulation H. Flutterfish is just the iconic duo from Reg C on, where if you wanted to play immediate damage, you put your dumb little fish next to your like prehistoric Misdreavus, and you clicked those buttons.
Yeah, you just click the damage buttons.
Yeah. Yesterday with Geo's Chiyu actually hitting, like, not missing the heat wave at all in Game 3, my first thought was, Geo loves his fish. And Geo's fish loves him.
Yeah, the Koraidon teams making sure they have like that ground type coverage was really, really important, because one of the big reasons Koraidon was struggling in the earlier Reg I was you just really hard lose to Miraidon.
Yep.
Miraidon outpaces you, outdamages you. Your brute bond's not doing anything. You almost are forced to Terra Koraidon every single time.
And it doesn't matter because Life Orb nukes you. I'm not Life Orb. The Koraidon's the Life Orb. Draco Meteor, yeah.
Draco Meteor still, like, Draco Meteor can still nuke you.
Yeah, not still. It just does. I think the only way Draco doesn't, it's like an 80%ish roll if you're Scarf Modest, and I think if you're Scarf Timid on the Miraidon, it drops like a 60% chance. Still better than a coin flip. Yeah. And whatever HP is left with that Koraidon, like if they're playing Life Orb Koraidon, it's going to knock you just put it in range where it just dies to Life Orb chip. So yeah, no, like there's a reason why we all thought Miraidon was going to do it. But with this team, like, yeah, being able to say, screw it, I'm going slow with the Lunala. I have a bear, and the bear's my third restricted, and that's how I'm going at this.
Which, it's funny, I don't think Giovanni brought Lunala or Ursaluna to the finals match at all. They just won both games with one restricted. They won the games they needed to with one restricted. Yeah, no, it's the finals. It was, again, also funny that in the double restricted worlds, the winner only brought one restricted in all 3 matches. The matchup-wise, Lunala Ursaluna mode really isn't great into James's team. It's like, it doesn't... I think, like, the offense you can put out with the Flutterfish
is definitely enough to compensate for not having the ursaluna. And the Brute Bonnet was also one of the stories, I think, of the week. This defense boost that gets to the photosynthesis, the Terra Water, works really nice with the Koraidon. And you're able to threaten the other ghost types and psychic types that could threaten the Koraidon with those sucker punches. Seed Bomb was able to punish your water types, such as Urshifu. Could punish other Terra Water Pokemon, which we did see where the forcing a Bonnet to Terra into Terra Water only for your own Bonnet to take advantage of that and get the Seed Bomb off. Terra Water was the most common Terra in the entire tournament. 17.48% of all Pokemon used were Terra Water. And if we're just going to do that real quick, that is, there were 371 players times 6 times 0.1748. That means that about 387 of the 2,226 Pokemon that were brought by people were Terra Water. So yeah, Seed Bomb, pretty good. If you force the Terra on almost a fifth of, about a sixth of the field, your Brute Bonnet is able to use a super effective stab move. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
I will say it. I was a Brute Bonnet truther. I told you guys that this Pokemon was good.
It was. We can go back to the regulation B tier list.
I said this Pokemon's good. I don't know why we're not playing it. Like, this Pokemon's great. It does everything you want from Amoonguss, but bulkier because you get the defense boost.
I'm trying to think, like, what the idea was and when it dropped off on these Sun teams. I think it was really just not even like, oh, Brute Bonnet just dropped off. I feel like it was just like, oh, Sun just dropped off.
Yeah, it's when Sun was bad, Brute Bonnet wasn't great.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, really awesome team. You're able to play the super fast mode again, like the natural speed of your Koraidon, Flutter, and Chi-Yu, along with the slow mode of the Lunala and the Ursaluna. Brute Bonnet just fits in with both modes. It's a really, really neat team. James Evans, on the other hand, our runner-up, went, screw up, I'm just going fast all the time.
I'm just going to try and outbulk you.
Yeah. Well, outbulk and outspeed in most places. So James went with the Incineroar on his team to provide Intimidate, to provide Fake Out. He ran Helping Hand on his Incineroar to boost the damage output of his Pokemon even more. The ground type of choice was the Landorus, triple attack with Sheer Force Life Orb. Pretty much the standard Landorus spread that we see. Brute Bonnet, in this case, instead of holding the Citrus Berry, was holding the Covert Cloak, so it couldn't be faked out. So that Spore was always live. Raging Bolt with the Assault Vest and Terra Electric to act as both a bulky piece and a damage piece is really cool. James ran a 3 electric type Raging Bolt with Volt Switch to act as a secondary pivot along with the Pardon Shot and Incin. And then the difference between his Koraidon and Geo's was the item, that being the Clear Amulet. And he went with the more offensive, faster, Ghost Psychic restricted Pokemon, Calyrex Shadow. Which, with the Focus Sash, you're able to get Live a Hit, Terra Ghost, Astral Barrage picks up so much, especially when Helping Hand boosted, and it also acted as a great Encore threat as well. You want to protect in front of my Calyrex to try to dodge the Astral Barrage? Okay, I'm going to Encore you. You're now locked into doing that, and I'm just going to Psychic the next spot, or I'll just get the hell out, and now my Koraidon is just going to be clicking Terrafire, like Flare Blitzes in the sun in front of you.
Yeah.
This is, I think, like, it's weird because, like, looking at this team, it does also feel like another team that we knew about this, or at least the idea of this going.
We knew about the idea of this one. The Calyrex, Koraidon, Brute Bonnet, like Raging Bolt was very was a core. We've seen it before. It's just like the Incin and Landorus usually were like different pieces. Again, like the reason why Miraidon had such a rough time is a lot of people teched on these Landorus, or they made room for Chen Pao, or they had real good coverage moves into opposing Miraidon. And Miraidon can't deal with Landorus that well if it gets into a situation where it's, oh, there's a Brute Bond on the other side. It's gonna Rage Powder, and then I can't Draco this thing anymore, and then I just die to Sandseer Storm.
Yeah.
Like,
I think one of the cool things as well with this, and also we didn't mention this with Geos. So for this specific team, James has pretty much ran the Raging Bolt, Bonnet, CSR, Koraidon, like that set of 4 for the entire format, and he's been trying to figure out these last 2 spots, which side of the Landorus and Incineroar going into the event, what those mons were supposed to be. In Geo's case, he was running that exact 6 the entire season. Only changes have been like set changes, terror changes, spreads, items, and such. But the mons have been the same 6 bonds the entire time. And in a very difficult format, which Regulation I was a very difficult format, they decided that as long like they chose good mons in their 2 restrictions to build around, and then Comfort just became king from there.
Yeah.
Going on to 3rd place, the only non-American in the top 4, another Koraidon horse team, not that horse, the other horse. Did you have Calyrex Ice Koraidon on your with Smeargle on your bingo card?
So the Koraidon Calyrex Ice, we've seen it a little bit coming out of Japan, not quite with the Smeargle, and then the fake out, like the Balance Broke duo right there sitting next to him. But the idea is sound. It pretty much kind of fills in the same idea you want for like Lunala. It's like you kind of have, it's a Trick Room mon that functions well under Trick Room. It's really hard to take out, and if it gets a Glacial Lance pickup for Chilling Neigh, it's really hard to stop that thing. The cool thing about this one, the Smeargle, is it's not the Wide Guard or the Decorate, it's the Ruination variant.
And we saw a lot of Ruination this weekend. I think one of the other things is just everything in this format, even though we have a lot of these insane power mons, the Calyrex, the Koraidon, the Miraidon, like things that just take knockouts like it's nothing. They're on the other side, knocking out a Calyrex Ice in one hit is a very tall task.
It is nigh impossible.
Yeah.
Unless you just have like double helping hand boost on a really strong single target move, it is very hard to take out Calyrex Ice in one hit.
Yeah, but if you just get rid of half of its health, oh, it's so much easier. And that was the idea with the Smeargle is, I'm going to get Moody Boost. Now, Hirofumi, while he did end up losing to Geo, the eventual champion, in 2 games, not only was he piloting this team like crazy, apparently, according to those who are at this, like from the matches we saw, and also people who are at Worlds, he got he was just like rolling like the most optimal Moody boosts you could possibly think of.
That's how you get there with Moody Smeargle, is you just get lucky and you get the optimal boosts.
Yeah, but like the thing is, it's like he was already playing out of his mind, and then he was also getting the luck on top of just already being an optimal sound, very good player. There is definitely a world where Hirofumi just wins everything. I think, with that being said, it felt like just watching Geo play, once he got into top 8, it just felt inevitable for him that he was just going to go all the way through.
Yeah.
But still, like, this is, I think, a really cool team. And also, this is another thing where the creativity that we did see in Regulation I, there wasn't the shell-shocked, like, oh, we've never seen this before. There were a few
this one
sets.
there was a few like unique things that we hadn't seen before, but this is the cool thing about having what we played on Reg I for
like 4 months.
But it has become so fleshed out already that it's really hard to run into something you haven't completely seen before.
Yeah. But with that being said, like, we're still finding stuff like Ruination Smeargle. Like, especially on a duo like this, I think this is a really neat team. I mean, a very talented team builder and player was able to put it together. And again, third in the world is nothing to sneeze at.
Nope.
Our final top 4 player, and also just to remind you, the players who finish top 4 or higher get auto invites to Worlds 2026.
Yep.
So for you American players who are gunning for Worlds, that is 3 players who, assuming Geo, James, and Montana don't just take the season off next year and not care, those are 3 players where if they do finish in the top 80, they're just going to get points kicked down. Or, on the other end, if they do decide to just take time off, these are 3 top players who will usually, you can just peg them to finish top 50 in points, where you don't have to worry about them. Like,
it's literally 3 extra spots for us. That's the best way to put it. It's 3 extra spots.
Which is huge. And very proud of Montana, the only non-Koraidon in the top 4. This was a team that we actually saw pop up. I want to say it was last week we talked about it. The Calyrex Shadow Zama team with Raging Bolt, Amoonguss, Chien-Pao, and D-Knight. And teams using, like, people using the Chien-Pao Dragonite duo as a way, especially with the Terra Normal on Dragonite, as a way to punish opposing Calyrex Shadow teams.
Yeah.
And this is where the Chien-Pao... This was one of the other, developments we saw over the weekend, which is this Assault Vest Chien-Pao, or even just in general Chien-Pao with tech moves. Instead of running Sacred Sword or Double Dark, you're going and using Taunt. With the Assault Vest versions, you're running it Jolly with Icy Wind for speed control.
You're trying to get max speed for Icy Wind or Fast Ruination.
Yeah,
you still carry Sucker Punch and Ice Spinner as your standard damage moves. It's interesting because it's just like it's effectively just like Fluttermane doing the same thing, but Fluttermane in the sun gets that extra speed boost, and you don't get that on Chien-Pao. Nope. So you're never faster than Timid Shadow Rider. But one of the other cool innovations we saw from Worlds is a lot of modest Shadow Rider. A lot of people played slow Shadow Rider.
Which I'm just going to... Why? You're already doing a ton of damage. Why? Like, it felt like everyone was like, well, I'm just going to be modest, so I at least know my speed tier. And everyone just had that same brain worm at the same time. It's like everyone tried just running modest to avoid the speed tie. And then... since everyone was just running modest, max speed, CSR, they were just playing speed ties.
Yeah, you just run into speed ties the other way. So the real big brain was to stay timid.
Yes.
And not budge. But yeah, we've seen the AV Chien-Pao a little bit before this, so again, not super, like, out of left field.
Yeah, it was something that was, again, like, we saw it pop up last week. Or at least like looking at
like leading into VRs. Worlds, we've seen it. We had enough events coming into Worlds because we had such a big break between NAIC and Worlds that there was enough grassroots tournaments that we kind of got to experience the whole plethora of things that could happen coming into this event.
Yeah, and also I'm just going to again switching to 6th place just because it is a very similar team. Michael Kelsch's team. 5 out of the 6 models are the same. The only difference is Montana had the Raging Bolt, and Kelsch had Ogerpon Cornerstone as a second redirector.
They love the Cornerstone.
Yeah.
They love that guy.
And the Chien-Pao set was slightly different with Ice Shard instead of Icy Wind as another way to pretty much guarantee that you are not playing Sucker Punch mind games.
You get to pick up all the sashes this way.
Yeah. And also your Terra Ghost, because you can't protect on it. So this is just a way to get around fake outs that way.
Yeah, the Terra Poison I found weird. I wasn't sure exactly what we were doing with that. The Ghost makes a lot more sense.
Okay, so it's Moonblast.
You resist Moonblast, like you resist the fairy moves coming in.
Yeah,
you resist the fighting moves coming in.
I was going to say you resist Body Press.
But
does poison resist steel?
No.
Heavy Slam's not doing that much into you anyway, so...
No, your Chien-Pao's heavier than you think it is.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. So,
like, it's heavier than you think it is, so Heavy Slam's not the one you're worried about.
So, yeah, so I think, like...
It's just to resist the fighting in Fairy, but I feel like if you just Terra into Ghost, you then become immune to the fighting, and with the AV, you're not taking much more from the Fairy than you really should be. So,
Well, it worked to come in 4th place, so what do we want to say?
that's probably more on the back of
everything else. Yeah, I'm actually curious to see... Like
I feel like that's 100% more on the back of Raging Bolt more than the poison on Chien-Pao.
Well, I'm also curious to see, like, I mean, actually, I might see if I can, like, ask Zach to ask Montana.
There you go.
How many times he even
how many times did Terra Poison come up? Like, right?
Yeah, like that's something I would be curious in. The Raging Bolt here as well. It is going to be different from James's, which was the Assault Vest. This one is Booster Energy.
This is the nuke. This is I'm going to Terra Electric Thunderclap you, and you're going to die.
Yeah, this was these Raging Bolts had a lot more speed, a lot more special attack, and you're right. Like this could act as another restricted. It was a nuke. What's crazy is you could bring it into the sun to have the photosynthesis, and the second the sun goes away, your booster energy activates, and you're back at it again. There was no way to get rid of that boost from
this Raging Bolt was your bike killer. This was the one that's like, okay, you either are forced to Terra your Koraidon into fire, so you don't eat this Dragon Pulse because you gave me photosynthesis boost, or you're forced to Terra your Miraidon into whatever, so you don't eat this Dragon Pulse because I already got my Proto Boost from my booster energy. Oh, I got you to Terra, now I can just Thunderclap you and deal 80% of your HP because I'm on electric terrain.
Yep. No, this is
that's what the Raging Bolt's supposed to do for this team.
And the Raging Bolt did take the place as the top end electric Paradoxmon. I don't think I think the highest placing highest placing Iron Hands isn't until Pat O'Connor's in 33rd place.
Yeah, Iron Hands did not have a great event. Not surprising.
Not at all. No, it has kind of been falling off. The Miraidon teams have been going with different fighting types, different fake out users, so it fell there, which made Raging Bolt, I think, even better.
Yeah.
Moving on, speaking of Miraidon, moving on to our top Miraidon team, 5th place Ko Sidike, playing a very familiar 6. This is the classic Miraidon Lunala, with the Ursaluna, Incineroar, Banded, Urshifu, and Whimsicott. The main thing to talk about with this specific 6 is the item choice on the Miraidon, where he has Life Orb.
Life Orb on Koraidon is great. I love it. Life Orb on Miraidon, I'm not as big of a fan of.
It's so weird because it's like, because when you drop Protect, it's okay, well, what cover? Like, you're dropping Deagling, you're dropping a tech move like Snarl. So you don't have, like, you're pretty much giving up the ability for any sort of spread damage. You do want to get, like, it, to an extent, it makes sense. A lot of times you want to get in, get out, and Life Orb, Terra Electric, Volt Switch lets you do that, while also in your end game being able to protect, like, in front of a fake out, so you just aren't handling that. Like, you can switch your moves, like, you can go from a Draco Meteor and then Volt Switch to get out, where you can still chip something and reset. I think it's interesting, and I find it very funny that it is the highest ranked Miraidon. If we go to Miraidon's item usage, we can see that Life Orb was the 3rd most popular item, at only 10.8%. Only 19 of the 176 Miraidon use Life Orb. Compare that to 89 Choice Scarf and 47 Choice Specs.
Like, Life Orb literally was only 4 higher than the Assault Vest. Like, yeah, it was like Life Orb is calling on life support more than likely.
But, like, I think having Protect on the Miraidon is something that the Pokemon usually doesn't have. And I think for a team like this, 6 was proven well known. Everyone knew what it did, or at least knew what to expect with it. So I think just throwing in the little wrinkle of, well, my Miraidon can stay on the field and click protect. I think that is something that probably helped in terms of trying to find like anything there. I just think it's a really neat way, like that we're still finding different ways to use these mons, even though we've been using Miraidon for so long. And it went like from the fact in Regulation G, it went from this is a Terra Fairy Spexmon only to, well, you have the Scarf Terra Electric again, the Specs Terra Electric, these AV variants pop up, and again now we see the top the top Miraidon using Life Orb. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we already did sixth
We
place.
did 6.
We'll move on to 7,
which
Malharada.
7's not anything like crazy outside of the Clefairy. It's a lot of the same like standard Calyrex Shadow stuff that we normally are seeing with Koraidon.
So I think one of the things that we should also note with this Koraidon that we did miss when looking at Hirafumi's team
is the low kick.
The low kick, and that was
I don't like that one either. I don't like that call either.
It seems like the Japanese really liked throwing that on there.
I don't understand why.
I don't know what because you
collision course. Anyway. It's variable damage versus consistent damage. It's that same argument like you use for like Zamazenta Heavy Slam versus Behemoth Bash.
Yeah.
In this format, Heavy Slam's not great because a lot of Pokemon are heavier. Low kick technically is fine in this format, but collision course gets the bonus when it's gets the actual extra bonus on it, so it's effectively almost 100 and like it's 120 power or 130 power or something after the bonus.
Yeah,
if it gets to do its thing, which that beats low kick every day of the week, 9 times out of 10. And I don't know if there's a world where low kick even gets close to OHKOing and Incineroar.
No, I think low kick. I think low kick still does OHKO Incineroar.
Well, low kick into Incineroar, I think it's only like 60 base power.
Let's look at this.
Because that was one of the big issues of low kick on like Iron Hands is Incineroar just turns you to nothing. Because your moves are Drain Punch, which was 75, or Low Kick, which was like 60. So it was always more optimal to click Drain Punch into the Incineroar until they tear it.
So I'm just doing... so it's 80 base power.
80, okay.
So not 60, but you're right. Not as much as like clicking Close Combat or so
Collision
on
course.
And so forth.
Collision Course is the one I would expect on the Clear Ambient sets.
Yeah. That would be like the other thing. Also, in terms of the Calyrex spreads as well, we saw 2 sashes. This one is the Terra Dark with Life Orb. So you're going with a defensive Terra.
Defensive Terra, as long as you have the Friend Guard, like that's fine.
And you can boost with Nasty Plot instead of clicking Encore. And it's like a lot of the damage with this team, because you're running Clefairy, Incineroar, a lot of damage needs to come like your 2 restrictions.
Your 2 restrictions are your damage. Like this is the Protect the King/Queen setup that we were used to seeing in like Reg G. Double Fake Out plus Clefairy on next to your setup mon, which in this case is Calyrex Shadow. And you set up your Calyrex Shadow by pivoting around and using Fake Out and Protect back and forth and play this long drawn out game to where you get to +4, you just start clicking Astral Barrage.
Yeah.
And it works when it works, and when it doesn't, you feel bad.
Yep. And it was the same exact idea for Victor Medina, our last top 8 player. Playing again, this is what we sort of expected to see with
this is the stock. This was the new stock.
Yeah. We see the Wide Guard Smeargle here. That is another example of that. But again, Nasty Plot Terra Dark, Life Orb Calyrex Shadow. You use your pivots here. Your triple Fake Out.
Yeah, now you have triple Fake Out, so now you really get to sit here and play Protect the Calyrex Shadow.
Yep, triple Fake Out, Wide Guard Spore.
And this one, Calyrex Shadow is your damage. There's no Koraidon to back you up. You have Zamazenta sitting next to you. So it's like, you really need that Calyrex Shadow protected.
Yeah, you do have booster Raging Bolt, but it's Terra Fairy instead of the Terra Electric. So again, the damage output isn't as much on this team outside of this Calyrex. Once the Calyrex gets going, though, you win in 2 button clicks,
Yeah.
which is pretty fun.
Yep.
And that is the top 8. Now, what I was thinking of doing is just trying to find a few of the other restricted mons that we haven't talked about. Which are
we hit
so
Lunala, Koraidon, Calyrex Shadow, Calyrex Ice, Miraidon, Zamazenta.
So for the top usage, we have I have up the top Kyogre team, the top Groudon team, and we also have a Japanese player who came in 11th place, and this is our next team with Ho-Oh.
Yeah.
This is the only Ho-Oh brought to the entire tournament, and it finished in 11th.
Yeah, not surprised.
This is a neat. So I feel like the idea of this was, well, Koraidon, like Ho-Oh, Raging Bolt, Incin, Flutter, all really like the Sun from Koraidon. Ho-Oh, as we've discussed in the past, is unbelievable into CSR Zama.
Yep.
Zama can't touch it. CSR, I think Astral could be like a 3 to 4 hit KO, depending on how your Calyrex is trained. And buddy, you aren't eating 3 to 4 Saber Fires.
No,
you're eating 2.
Yeah,
tops.
Like you are probably going down to that second Sacred Fire, depending on how burned luck goes.
So one of the reasons why Ho-Oh dropped off from Milwaukee was the fact that everyone's like, "Oh yeah, the Miraidon's broken."
I was about to say Miraidon exists. Like you can't play this Pokemon.
But Miraidon did not have that great of a weekend, which meant that Ho-Oh
gets to do better. Like that's the trade-off. It's just like, again, when Miraidon is not good, the format kind of shifts a little bit, and some of these Pokemon that are weak to Miraidon get to pop up more. Yeah. It also helps when you have Iron Treads.
I was going to say, Iron Treads is there as your break in case of Future Bike.
Break always in case of Future Bike.
this mon is coming 100% of the time in that matchup.
Like you probably would leave. You probably would just bring Koraidon, Iron Treads, Bolt, and Flutter into Bike. Like you don't even bring the Ho-Oh for them to just try and fish for it. You just don't have to worry about it in that matchup because 9 times out of 10. Raging Bolt and Iron Treads can deal with the Calyrex Ice on the other side pretty effectively.
So one of the other things that is... Oh, no, you can't... Never mind. You have to be adamant for that. So one of the other things that's kind of cool, or at least the potential, looking at... Nope, that is adamant. Nope, never mind. I was going to say one of the things that could be cool with this, because this is Scale Shot Koraidon. I was like looking to see what you do into Sash Calyrex, and it looks like if they have 4 defense. Oh, so on 4 hit, if you get a 4 hit Scale Shot on, if you get a 4 hit Scale Shot on
Calyrex.
If you're adamant, so yeah, 4 hit. It's if you're adamant, a 4 hit is a roll. A 5 hit, whether it's adamant or jolly, will always OHKO. Yeah. So if you get the if you can
you're fishing for the 5 hit. That's why you play this set.
Yeah. The 5 hit on jolly is a guaranteed OHKO. Which I'm assuming you're going to be jolly on the Koraidon because you don't want to be slower than other Koraidon or other non-specs. Non-scarf Miraidon, unless everyone just decided to run adamant and modest like they did with the horses. But yeah, like if you roll the 5 hits, you're good. And even if you miss it, like it's a Sashmon, the Flare Blitz was going to bring it down to Sash and you'll have to hit it twice anyways. And this way now you can have it peppered, like softened up, and you get that speed boost where you can go and pick something up after. Mm-hmm. I think that it is a neat way to play Koraidon. As someone who's been playing a decent bit of Reg H, playing a lot, actually not a lot, only playing teams with Scale Shot Dragonite, because I'm a psychopath. Sometimes it misses, and
yeah,
it's
and then
not,
you're sad.
and it's but like it hits enough where you will forget it can miss.
It's like play rough.
Yeah, no, it is. But like I feel better clicking scale shot than whenever I click play rough, I feel like it's just the worst feeling, like right in my chest.
Yeah.
But this, yeah, clicking scale shot just feels better. This is just another really unique team. We were used to seeing Ho-Oh with Miraidon. That's at least how we first saw it. So to see it with Koraidon, I think it's really neat. Like, this was another duo that made sense on paper, but we never saw it in practicality. So to not only see it, but for the first time, but have it be the only Ho-Oh and for it to finish top 16 is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go from Sun to Rain. This is our top Kyogre team, Nick Navarre, Nails. This team threw me off because this team has 3 Protects, and I don't think I've ever seen Nails run a team with this many Protects.
So there's a carbon copy of this team, down just a little bit farther too.
Yeah,
in the hands of Cedric.
Yeah, I believe that this group, like, they built and played together.
Yeah, like it's literally carbon copy of the same thing. So I imagine that's why they were playing the Protects. This is the team the group came up with.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, I feel like this is just pretty much what we were seeing from Kyogre, Calyrex Ice before. You got your extra Rain Abuser and Urshifu. You got your double grass types and Rillaboom and Amoonguss. And then your 6th slot can be whatever Tekmon you want. In this case, it's Fluttermane.
Yeah, no,
because you need something that's going to help you against Sun. Because if Sun goes up, you're dead.
Yeah. No, this is kind of like the classic, like, double water, double grass Rain that we've seen. The other top Rain team, it was by Danveer Singh Narula, who ran the Kyogre Zamazenta team with Bolt, Chien, Roaring Moon, and Amoonguss, which was another way that we would see these teams
the one
played
down
out.
on 31st.
Yep, and then Keon Campbell, also his classic Swordfish. But this was the top one. It had 2 great results. This team made stream was played in the side stream a lot. I know Nails was on the side stream. I believe Nails also got a top cut match aired on the mainstream. So we did get to see a lot of this team, and it is a really powerful Rain team. I think people, like, you always just have to respect the amount of damage that Surging Strikes does when it's boosted by Kyogre's Rain. Or whoever's Rain.
Well, Kyogre. Kyogre's the only Rain one you'll see
in this format, yes. But, you know, in other formats where it's not Kyogre, it's just another Pokemon.
Yeah.
Now, the last team we go to is another Sun team.
This
Groudon,
is the highest placing Groudon.
This is, though Groudon did make the usage graphic on day 1 and day 2. It was the 8th most use restricted. It was usually that spot, like the 7 to 8 spot was usually like Terapagos, not Groudon. Groudon had about like 7% usage day 1, and it dropped to like 4% day 2. I believe, just going through everything, I believe this is only one of 2 Groudons. That is confirmed. Yeah, this is only one of 2 Groudons to make day 2. So as we kind of predicted, Groudon was going to have a lot more show than it had in previous events.
Mm-hmm.
And in the grand scheme of things, no one was going to succeed with it. Just going by the usage stats here, by searching Groudon. Yeah, so 26 Groudons. Only 2. Yeah, so 26 Groudons, only 2 of them made day 2.
Yeah.
And if you go look here, your 3rd highest placing Groudon was 89th. And then actually Joe UX9 was our 4th highest placing Groudon at 114th. So only 3 Groudons even got into the double digits. And a lot of great players brought this. The Americans, Justin Tang, Joe UX9, Paul Chua, Jonzu, Juxi. We had Like, we had a couple Japanese players, a few players, like a few Europeans. Like, people were bringing this. They were bringing it with screens. They were bringing it with Calyrex Ice. They were bringing it with Miraidon. And most of them did not do well. This was the Calyrex Ice variant, and I do think the Groudon set itself with the Assault Vest is the smart way to go.
Yeah,
As discussed,
but this is probably the optimal like Groudon pairing in set.
yeah. As we discussed, you get blown up without your Assault Vest. You still get blown up by Miraidon. The jump bluff here is not the ethical double screens. It is the deplorable sleep powder variant. But then the rest of this stuff, again, it's a lot of sun stuff. And
It's all sun stuff.
Yeah, it's all sun stuff outside of the Calyrex, which is...
I feel like that's how you have to run Groudon.
Yeah.
Koraidon's a lot more flexible in like what you can kind of get away with, because Koraidon doesn't have to worry about like accuracy and things like that as much. But yeah, this is Groudon plus sun friends, and then Calyrex Ice is along for the ride.
Yeah, and with this Calyrex running the Imprison Trick Room, like, again, you can stop opposing Trick Room. You can really just shut down other opposing Calyrex. Which
I'm about to say that's what you want, is because you don't want to eat Glacial Lances.
Nope, nothing on this team wants to eat a Glacial Lance.
So you just imprison the opposing Glacial Lance, and then you ain't got to worry about it.
So when Justin was on stream day one, I can't remember who his opponent was. I went up to Boston to watch day one with a few friends. Tony was crashing out because there's a Groudon on stream and just like, trauma. And the Groudon did literally nothing. It was put to sleep twice, and then
Groudon things, yeah.
And then crit both times while it was sleeping to just get knocked out.
Yep.
It was actually hilarious. It did not get to click a single actual attack.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
For Groudon.
So overall, I'd say that is our coverage. It is getting a little late.
Worlds was fun.
It was.
Other big things, Unite had their first Game 4 of Worlds.
Okay, that's fun.
That was every Worlds Grand Finals before this one, which there wasn't that many, but they always would be just like 3-0 sweeps. Now, take that with a grain of salt. Luminosity was 2 of those, and Luminosity was the best team in the world, like hands down, for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And then we started inviting like the Japanese and Korean teams in the last couple of years, and then Japan, I believe Japan swept Unite Worlds that year. And then Peru Unite ended up playing Zeta Division in the finals this season, and was our first Game 4. Because Peru always seems to drop Game 1 and then turn it around after they figured out what their opponent's doing and win the next like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. But yeah, fun weekend, and
yep.
All I gotta say is, even though I like restricted formats and I like restricted Pokemon, I think they're neat. I'm also very excited to not talk about a Miraidon or a Calyrex or a Kyogre or a Groudon or any of these Pokemon for the, I don't know, until like 2027 or something.
We'll probably see them sooner than that.
Oh, I hope not.
Because we have the format after H. We don't know what after H is.
Oh, goddamn. If they want me to tell you what, like,
I can almost guarantee you it's another round of I. I can almost guarantee.
I was going to say if it's Reg G Part 3.
Oh God, no. It
will.
would make sense for it to be I Part 2.
I wouldn't,
because then it's
a
repeat of G, a repeat of H, and a repeat of I, broke up enough to where we get breaks from it.
Yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, no. As long as it's not G Part 3, I'm fine. I think
it's only got to be a couple months, probably. So it's like,
but that's
all
like
it is.
That's like too many. If they are worried about like regionals like being too large, that's one way to fix it for those months. But yeah, it's we're going to be talking about Reg H next week and start diving into some lower powered formats.
Get to talk about locals coming back.
Yeah, it's I believe this week you'll start seeing locals pop up on your event tracker again.
So according to our TO, they can't schedule them yet. They have to wait until the 1st for them to start popping up on the tracker.
Oh shit! Oh, that's later than I thought.
Because that's when you can actually start doing them again.
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah, I
you
know,
can't
like-
post them ahead of time because they don't want you to.
Yeah,
But
We
you can. They have a tentative schedule for us figured out pretty much.
yeah. No, it's most of the TOs in the New England area. It's relatively all scheduled. They had a massive powwow of the close a dozen TOs. It's like, okay, who's doing what on which day, so we don't like
So you
double
don't
book
overlap.
Yeah, so we don't double book events. What's nice is my Rhode Island TO, we do Tuesday nights, and pretty much no one does Tuesday night events. So that's like, I'm like, oh, that's always way
That's
fun
nice.
for her.
We only have Saturdays. Saturdays and Sundays, that's it.
Yeah, so we have Thursday. So we get Tuesdays only for challenges. Cups are always Saturdays. But like we also have Thursdays with one of our TOs, and then depending on the store, we'll have Saturdays and Sundays. So like there's going to be a lot of events. I think like just the first week we're going to have something on the 4th, the 6th, and the 7th. I will be going to none of them. The 4th I was thinking, but also Eagles, like, NFL kickoff first game.
You're not gonna miss that.
No, I'm not. Like, I mean,
Let's
I can
be
play
honest.
Mon.
Don't lie to ourselves. You're not gonna miss that.
I can play Mons another time.
Our first local is tentatively scheduled to be like in the Casey areas, like on the 6th, which I won't be going to that one. Mostly because that one's in Mission, Kansas, and it's a little too far for me to drive, like to go and drive for that, just to show up and play.
It's also your daughter's birthday.
Yeah, it's also my daughter's birthday. But
So.
I make an effort probably to not go to the ones like that are that far into Kansas. Nothing against Kansas, but I'm not.
No, we can slander Kansas.
No, we can.
No, yeah.
I was literally taught in high school that Kansas is not a state, so dead serious. This is not a joke.
No, I believe you.
I was taught for at least 4 years in my school that Kansas does not exist. He would mark questions wrong if you answered Kansas. Yeah, it was a bad, funny joke.
That is wild.
But yeah, I try not to go that far. It's like 2 hours is about my limit for what I would reasonably drive to go play in a large event. I ain't driving 2 hours to go play an 8-man local.
No, and like, I mean, like, it depends for me. Like, we've done road trips. I know, like, my group has done road trips, like, up to like Portland, Maine. But like, Portland's also a cool little city. And
there's things to do there. There's nothing to do in Mission, Kansas.
No. Carl, you could be telling me, like, calling it Mission, Kansas. It could actually just be that's a place. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. Because I didn't even learn about Kansas in high school because it's. Well, I'm not going to slander more states than I already have on this podcast.
There is a new development for us that we might get like a permanent location for VGC. There's like a new shop in Overland Park that opened up this year, and so that might become a more permanent fixture for regionals. Which Overland Park's fine. Overland Park's within like that hour 15 range.
That's not bad.
Like we go up there like once every couple months to visit Kayla's in-laws, so that's nothing. I'm used to that. I'm not going farther into Kansas just to go to Mission, Kansas, just to try and play an 8-person local. Yeah. But I will go into my brother-in-law's backyard to go play a local and then go visit them afterwards. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we will have, again, next week, talk about like the great Pokemon. We already talked about the great teams. And hopefully we'll even see some more meta development now that all of these great players that we talked about this past weekend, who are competing in a regulation in the GS Cup Worlds, can now focus on their lower powered Reg H. And you can hear all of this talk about Regulation H and all the prep on our YouTube channel at Littleroot Lessons, along with following all of our updates at our Blue Sky at Littleroot Lessons. You can follow myself at Rose Tinted Cheeks, Carl at Musical, and Carter, whose computer's broken, which is why he's not here today, at Mr. Missouri. Also, if you've been following Carter's streams, his computer's broken, which is why he hasn't streamed the last 2 days.
they had a apparently the hard drive's fine, but
Yeah, I saw that.
It was like stuck repairing, so they're digging into some of the stuff on why it was being weird. But time ran out during like the business day, so
maybe tomorrow.
maybe
Who can say?
we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. So again, you can follow us all there. You can see if you do want to catch up on what Carter's been doing. You can go follow his stream channel. I'm sorry, his VOD channel where he posts his streams, and that's where you can find us. Podcatchers, again, the Discord. Things are popping off now that we are at this Regulation H again and moving to the lower power format, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
So thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your weeks.